This lesson is going to talk about conjugating verbs, specifically AR verbs. You'll need to be on page 20 in your grammar notebook. Before we fill in anything on page 20, we're actually going to review the chart from page 19. If you've looked at all of your grammar notebook, you'll notice that the last two pages have this color pattern. Or if you've been in class at all this year, you will likely recognize this color pattern from the big chart that's on the wall behind my desk. So these colors will be used to help us know who we're talking about. And I think we actually did talk about these colors when we introduced these subject pronouns, the yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. So just a quick review. Yo is I. Tú is you, that you use with your friends or people you can call by their first name. Él is he. Ella is she. And usted is you when you're talking to somebody you need to be formal with, or somebody who you should use a title with. You can't call them or shouldn't call them by their first names. Nosotros and nosotras both mean we. Nosotras is if the group is all girls. Otherwise, we use nosotros. We also would use the green box if we see a name, yo, Marco and I, Sarah and I, Mrs. Velasco and I. In English, the pronoun for somebody and I is we. Ellos and ellas both mean they. Again, ellas is if the group is all females. Otherwise, you use ellos. And if you're talking to a group of people and saying, hey, you all, or hey, everybody, that's ustedes. That's you, plural. We say you all. Or you guys is very common in the US. So these colors are going to help us figure out how to conjugate and what person we need to use. So again, remember, we have you and I. Yellow and blue make green, so it would be nosotros. Or if we had him, you and him, would be yellow and red. Makes orange, would be ellos. Okay, so to conjugate verbs, it's really pretty simple. It's kind of a match game. You know that a verb is an AR verb because of the last two letters. It ends in AR, like hablar and bailar and dibujar and tocar. We did that verb sorting activity a while back, and there was mostly AR verbs in our 1A vocab list. So that is, AR verbs are the most common verbs in the Spanish language. So that's what we're going to learn how to do first, because there's more of them. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to drop the AR. That's the infinitive ending. If you remember, an infinitive is the form of the verb that hasn't been conjugated yet. That's the to walk, to run, to speak, to dance. So it still is going to end in AR. So we're going to drop that AR, and then we're going to match the subject color. So if our sentence says yo, we will use the blue box because that's the box where yo is. If our sentence says Maria, we're going to use the red box because that's where the word she is, or ella. So we just have to match the colors. And you're going to add the subject ending, which is what we're going to fill in this box. So we're going to take off the AR and put a new ending on. And that ending will tell us who's doing the action. So we have o, as, a, amos, an. Those are the subject endings for AR verbs. If it's yo, the verb's going to end in o. If it's tú, the verb's going to end in as. If it's he, she, or you formal, then it's going to end in a. If it's we, the verb ends in amos. And if it's you all or they, it's going to end in an. So let's look at an example. We're going to use the verb hablar. Hopefully you all already know that hablar is to speak or to talk, and we're going to conjugate it. So we're going to start with hablar, and we're going to take off the AR. That leaves us with habl, H-A-B-L. That's what we call the stem. Whatever's left after we get rid of those last two letters, that's the stem of our verb. So this tells us the action. Hablar is to speak or to talk. And if it's yo, we're going to put an O on the end. So we have hablo, I speak or I talk. You might have heard or be familiar with the phrase no hablo inglés or no habla inglés. Hablo would be I speak. Habla would be he or she speaks. So when we say no hablo inglés or no hablo español, you're saying I don't speak English or I don't speak Spanish, depending on which language you're talking about. Right? So if it's two, again, we're going to start with hablar, drop the AR, and add AS. So we have hablas, tú hablas, you speak. He or she, start with AR, drop the AR, and add an A. Habla, he or she speaks. Hablamos is the we form. We have hablar, drop the AR, add AMOS. Hablamos, we speak. And the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, again, drop the AR and put AN at the end. So hablan is they speak or you all speak. So we always are going to drop the AR and replace it with one of these endings. So looking at this group of words, circle or underline the ending. So you're looking for the o, as, a, amos, or an. Those are your ending options. Circle the endings, pause the video, and then restart to check your answers. You should have hablas, the AS, nado ends in O, canta, the ending is A, tocamos, that is the we form, that's AMOS, trabajas is AS, patinamos, again, is the we form, dibujan is the AN, bailo is the O, pasan is AN, and escucha is the A ending. So these endings tell us who's doing the action. So like this one right here, bailo, the bail from bailar tells us it's dance, and the O at the end tells us it's I dance. Dibujan, the dibuj, that part is from dibujar, and that's draw, and the AN tells us that either they draw or you all draw. Okay, so we have those same words from part A, hablas, nado, canta. Decide who the person is. So hablas ends in AS, so that's the yellow box. We're in circle 2. Nado ends in O, that's the blue box. We're in a circle yo. Pause the video so you can attempt the rest of them and then restart to check your answers. Canta would be usted. Tocamos is nosotros. Some of you may be looking at this word here and realizing, wait, we've never talked about that. This is vosotros. This is that form that is used in Spain only that we are not going to worry about because you will never have to use that. The likelihood of you going to Spain and being in a situation where you actually need vosotros is pretty much non-existent. And you would use ustedes instead, and you would just sound like you're polite anyway. So, trabajas would be tú. Patinamos is nosotras. Dibujan would be ustedes. Bailo is yo. Pasan would be ellas. Be careful. This one is usted. That one is singular. So that's the red box would end in an A. And then escucha would be ella. Ustedes is plural, so it would have to be a N for it to be ustedes. Now, something that some people mess up every year is the O and the A ending. We have talked about nouns being masculine and feminine, and masculine ends in O, feminine ends in A. However, these are verbs, not nouns. They follow different rules. So it would be kind of hard to play football using a tennis ball. Right? They have different equipment and they have different rules. The same thing happens with nouns and verbs in Spanish. Nouns have rules that they have to follow, and verbs have different rules that they have to follow. The O and the A are not masculine and feminine when it comes to verbs. The O indicates I, and the A indicates he, she, or you formal. Okay, the next section, they've already removed the AR, and we need to fill in the subject ending, the o, as, a, amos, an. So we have Marta. Marta is a girl's name. So instead of saying Marta works, we could say she works. So that would be the red box. So we're going to fill in A. Marta trabaja. Yo, and then this was cantar. I sing. Yo is in the blue box. And that's going to be the O endings from what canto. Yo canto. Two, and this was esquiar. So you ski. Two is the yellow box. So we're going to put AS. So we have tu esquias. Ellos patinar was the original. They skate. Ellos is in the orange box. We're going to put an. Ellos patinan. And this one, nosotros bailar. We drop the AR. We dance. Nosotros is the green box. We have bailamos. In this activity, we have the people and we have our verb in parentheses. This time they didn't take the AR off for us. We have to do that before we put the ending on. So I'll do the first one with you, and then you can pause, do 2 through 8, and then restart to check your answers. So I have yo bailar. We want to make that say I dance instead of I to dance. If we don't take the AR off, it's to dance. And we don't say things like that in English. We don't say I to dance, you to eat, he to run. We say, I dance, you eat, he runs. So we conjugate as well. It just looks way different. So we're going to conjugate yo bailar, take off the AR, and the yo is in the blue box. We're going to put an O at the end. So it's yo bailo, I dance. Pause the video, do 2 through 8, and then restart to check your answers. Take off the AR. We have ella canta. Nosotros trabajamos. Ustedes patinan. Ellos esquían. Tú nadas. Él dibuja. Ellas usan la computadora. This one needs something after it. It needs what we would call in English a predicate, an ending, because they use what? That wouldn't make any sense just by itself. So we need something after it. So they use the computer. And the last examples, you are going to write a sentence with whatever activity you see in the picture. Okay, so for the model, there's two and there's a person drawing. So it's two dibujas. Go ahead and attempt 1 through 4. Pause the video so that you can utilize your notebook. Look up the verbs if you need to. We have to skate, to sing, to swim, and to draw. And then restart the video to check your answers. You should have él patina, because patinar is to skate. Nosotros cantamos, cantar is to sing. Ellos nadan, nadar is to swim. And yo dibujo, because dibujar is to draw. So you're going to conjugate AR verbs for 3 of this week's activities, and there will be a quiz on AR verbs at the end of the week.